Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen Muhammadur Rasulullahi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathiran kathira famma ba'du faqala ta'ala a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim bismillahir rahmanir rahim سبحان الذي يصرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the first ayat of Surah Al-Isra, also known as Surah Bani Israel, glorified and pure. How do you translate the word Subhan? In all the superlative meanings of that, Wallahu Alam, is the one who took his slave, who took his abd, Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, min al-Masjid al-Harami ila al-Masjid al-Aqsa, from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa. الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا. Masjid al-Aqsa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described what is Masjid al-Aqsa. Allah said this is the one which and the surroundings of which have been purified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Barakna hawlahu. There is barakah in that masjid and in the surroundings of that masjid. لنريه من آياتنا, so that we may show him our signs. Innahu huwa as-sami'ul basir. Verily, he is the one who is as-sami' wal basir. He is the one who hears everything and who sees everything. I begin with this ayat al-karima of this surah because this is the opening and this is the door through which this greatest gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, and through him to his ummah, which is the Salah. This is the door through which that gift came. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was taken. This is not a bayan on Mi'raj and Isra, so I am not going to talk about the details of that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam on a multi-dimensional tour. From one dimension to another dimension to another dimension, from one heaven to another heaven to another heaven, the actual details of which are known only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala jalla jalaluhu. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was taken on this tour, and then eventually at the end of that, he was presented before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala jalla jalaluhu. And then whatever happened between the Abd and his Rabb Jalla Jalaluhu, only his Rabb and only the Abd to whom it happened know. We know what we have been told, and what we have been told is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then said to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and gave him this gift of appearing, of the right to appear in the darbar, in the court, and in the presence, the glorified presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 50 times a day. Divide 24 hours by that and you get about every 30 minutes. 50 times a day, a bit more than that because that's 48, and another two times. Every 30 minutes. And then we know the details of the rest of it also, how Musa alayhi salam advised Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and the consequence of that advice, and eventually it was this honor and privilege of appearing in the darbar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was reduced in number alone to 5 times a day. But it is the shan and the glory and the magnificence of my Rabb Jalla Jalaluhu that what He gives, He does not take away. So He said, they will appear in my darbar 5 times a day, but they will get the reward of appearing 50 times a day. Because the original thing was 50 times a day. This, my brothers and sisters, is the essence of Salah. Salah is not a burden at all, of course. Salah is a fard, but I would like to say even that Salah is not even to be seen as a fard. Salah is to be seen as the greatest honor and privilege that we could possibly get. And that is why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam called the Salah al-Mi'raj al-Mu'min. He said, this is the Mi'raj of the Mu'min. The Mi'raj of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was when he went on this journey. The Mi'raj of the Mu'min is when he stands before his Rabb Jalla Jalaluhu, in the masjid or wherever he stands. And that is the reason why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said in another hadith that when the slave makes sujood on the earth, he is actually making sajda before the throne, the arsh of his Rabb Jalla Jalaluhu. This is the real value of Salah. Salah is the conversation between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his abd. Salah is the place where you talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You say, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I begin in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Jalla Jalaluhu, who is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, beneficent and merciful, at the peak of beneficence and mercy. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praise, all thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Jalla Jalaluhu, who is Rabbul Alameen. He is the creator, He is the sustainer, He is the maintainer, He is the owner, He is the provider for, not just for you and me, Al-Alameen, for all of creation, all that we know and all that we don't know. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Who is He? Ar-Rahman. The same wazan, the same form as Jaw'an, Atqan, Ghadban. Extremely hungry, superlative, extremely hungry, extremely thirsty, extremely angry. But what is the, within quotes, the problem of any extreme? The peak. The problem of a peak is that peak doesn't stay forever. Peak always declines. You are extremely hungry until when? Until you get the first morsel of food. Your stomach doesn't have to fill. If there was a meter that you could attach to see, which showed you the intensity of hunger, then even if you had been hungry for 3-4 days, you're absolutely starving, peak of hunger, and you start eating, you haven't eaten, your stomach is not full, you just ate one morsel of food, there will be a dip in the peak. Yes? Same thing with thirst, same thing with anger. You are extremely angry, you're absolutely insane with anger, but the moment somebody says, I am extremely sorry, please forgive me, comes down. May not come down completely, but you are just now willing to slaughter that person with a blunt knife, but okay, now I'll use a sharp knife, not a blunt knife. Peak always comes down. But what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. What is Rahim? Same wazan, same form as Jameel, Kareem, beautiful, honorable. You're not beautiful one day and next day you become ugly, no. Illa mashallah, except for accidents and so on, may Allah protect us, but otherwise it maintains over time. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim is the peak of mercy which remains forever, doesn't come down. Ar-Rahman, peak of mercy, Ar-Rahim, that mercy remains forever. And who is this Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim? Maliki Yawmiddin. He is the one before whom we are going to go. He is the owner of the day of judgment. He is the king on the day of judgment. Limanil mulkul yawm lillahil wahidul qahhar. This was said in that place, but the beginning, Allah did not say Ar-Wahidul Qahhar. Allah said Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Conversation between the Abd and the Rabb. Allah is introducing Himself. I am Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. I am the owner of the Day of Judgment. So my slave, when you come before me, don't worry. Don't worry. You're coming before the one whose mercy is not exceeded by anybody. There is no one and nothing that can be more merciful than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the one you are going to come before. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. And then what does the slave say? Conversation has to be two-way, right? So what does the slave say? Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Only you I worship. Only you I ask for help. Why is he saying that? He's saying that and he's being taught to say this because this is the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To establish and reiterate his connection with his Rabb Jalla Jalaluhu. Who are you? I am yours. Yalla, I am yours. I belong to you. I don't worship anybody else. I worship only you. I don't ask anyone else. I ask only you. Allah, give me because I am asking you. Give me because I don't ask anybody else. Give me because only you can give. And give what? Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Show me the way to the path of steadfastness. Allah did not tell us to say, Inna nasalukal Jannah, no. Oh Allah, we ask you for Jannah, no. The path of steadfastness. That path leads to Jannah. But this life is a journey. Jannah is the destination. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us to ask for the right path because only that path will take us to Jannah, to the right destination. And that path is the path of steadfastness, Sirat al-Mustaqim. And to be able to stay on that path with istiqamat, with steadfastness, this is what we have to ask for. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. And then we call this tafsil, further explanation. What is sirat al-mustaqim? Sirat alladhina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. What is this path of steadfastness? The path of those who received your pleasure, who received your in'am, who received your blessings. Further tafsil, further explanation. Not the path of those who earned your displeasure, your anger. Not the path of those who were misguided or misled and who went astray. Whoever they might be. We usually translate that as Jews and Christians, but I submit to you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have said Yahud wal Nasara. Allah does not have to speak in riddles and say something and expect us to find our meanings. Allah did not say Yahud wal Nasara. Allah said those who have incurred Allah's anger. Could be anybody, including Muslims. And those who are misguided or who went astray can be anyone, including Muslims. There is no guarantee that just because you said La ilaha illallah, or just because you were born in a Muslim home, or just because you call yourself a Muslim, that you are guaranteed that you will never go astray. No. And that is the reason why we need to be careful with ourselves and with the kinds of decisions we take and with the kinds of things we do. Our actions and our choices must be made intelligently. This is Salah. This is what happens when you stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. you are standing before your Rabb Jalla Jalaluhu and you are speaking to Him. And obviously when you are speaking to Him, you are asking Him for that most important and critical thing which spells the difference between Jannah wal Jahannam, which spells the difference between everlasting pleasure and everlasting happiness and everlasting unhappiness and pain. This is Salah. And this was the gift that was given to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And through him, this is the gift given to his ummah. The ability to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 5 times a day compulsorily, and then as many times a day as they wish. There is no number limiting the number of nawafil that you can pray any time of the day or night except the prohibited times. You can pray as many nawafil as you like. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not put a condition on the amount of nawafil that you can pray. My brothers and sisters, this whole class, inshallah, we will have totally 4 sessions, 2 sessions today and 2 sessions tomorrow, is focused on this most important of elements of our deen, and that's why I've titled it Salah, the proof of our Iman, because Salah is the proof that we are Muslim. When we say La ilaha illallah, how do you enter Islam? You enter Islam by accepting the Shahadatain, 2 Shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. So what do? You believe that in your heart, you say that with your tongue, and you act on it. Tasdeeq bil qalb, wa iqrar bil lisan, wa amal bil arkan. What is in our heart, we know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. What is on our tongue, inshallah, we can all say that and say it now so that, inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be witness. So repeat after me, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Alhamdulillah. So we have said it with our tongue. Now what is the amal bil rugan? What are the actions with our hands and feet? This applies to all the actions of a person, all of which must be in obedience to the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But primarily and first and foremost, it applies to Salah. We said there is no one worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. There is no one worthy of worship except Allah. And we prove that by doing what? By worshipping Allah. So if you have somebody who said La ilaha illallah, and then the adhan is called Hayya ala Salah, but the person does not go for Salah, then where is the proof of the Iman? And that is the reason why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we look at all those hadiths and so on in the course of this lecture, but Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this, and all the Sahaba are agreed upon that a person who deliberately refuses to pray. I'm not going into the nuances of what constitutes deliberate refusal, but you know and I know what it means. So somebody who does not pray, who deliberately refuses to pray, has exited Islam. The person is no longer a Muslim. And if that person dies, the person has died without Iman. He has not died as a Muslim, she has not died as a Muslim, if that person has left Salah. And therefore we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable us to appreciate this great gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us, and to not just fulfill that as an obligation, but to use that as leverage, to use that in the best form that we can use it. So what is Salah? As I mentioned before, Salah is an honor, Salah is the key to Jannah. And Salah, most importantly, is a reminder of our meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Jalla Jalaluhu. That one day we will stand before Allah. We remember that at least 5 times a day when we stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salah is like a course correction. You know, if you take a guided missile, for example, right? So what happens to a guided missile? You don't just press a button and it goes. As it is going, the servers keep correcting the course. So it goes a little bit to right and bring it back, and a little bit this way and bring it back, and up and down and so on, so that it finally hits the target that it's supposed to hit. This salah 5 times a day is that course correction. Whatever I may have done between Fajr and Zohar, in Zohar I correct my course, I make my tawbah, I ensure that I'm on the right path, and then from Zohar to Asr, I do that. Quite apart from the fact that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala forgives the sins between one salah and the other salah. So Alhamdulillah, we are also forgiven those sins. But more importantly is that salah is the reminder and salah is the course correction for us between the two salawat. Sallallahu ala nabil kareem wa alihi wa sahbihi ajmain bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin.